Hi there, Mazda owners. Today in your 2021 Mazda CX-5, we're going to be taking a look at and we're going to show you how to install Curt's 1¼ inch trailer hitch receiver. And this is what our hitch looks like when it's installed. It's a 1¼ inch receiver, so it's going to be great for accessories such as bike racks and some of the smaller cargo carriers. It can also be used for some light duty towing as well. We can see here that when it's installed, the cross tube is going to be hidden completely behind our bumper. So we're really just going to see the receiver here at the back. And with it being a 1¼ inch, it's fairly small and tucked up fairly far underneath the vehicle. So it really doesn't detract from the looks of the vehicle too much. The black finish on it also blends in fairly nicely with the vehicle. I think a matte finish would fit this particular vehicle a little bit better, but it still looks nice either way. You'll secure your accessories to your hitch using a 1/2 inch hitch pin and clip. Now you won't get one with the hitch, but we've got plenty available here at eTrailer. I'd also recommend locking hitch pins to protect your investments. On the bottom side here, we've got our safety chain loops, and they are a hoop style with a fairly large opening that should accommodate just about every shape, size, and style of safety chain. If we take our smaller chain here, we can see that that can go on and off with ease. And our big guy here also goes on and off without any issues. This hitch is a Class 2 hitch that features a 350-pound tongue weight. That's the force going down on top of your receiver. And with 350 pounds available to you, that should be more than enough for a 4-bike platform rack fully loaded up with 4 bikes. You can also use a cargo carrier with it. However, with 350 pounds at the maximum, you're not going to be able to load the cargo carriers up to the max in most situations. You do want to keep in mind that that tongue weight rating includes any accessory that you place in there. So for example, your bike rack, plus the weight of any components that you put on it, and that would be your bike. So a little bit of math can help you determine how much you've got available there. And again, that should be perfect for a bike rack hitch. Your cargo carriers, you just want to be careful with those to make sure you don't exceed the capacities. It does also feature a 3,500 pound gross towing capacity, and that's how much that you can pull behind the hitch. 3,500 pounds is going to be enough if you've got a small utility trailer. Maybe you're just using it for a little bit of work. Maybe you've got a 0 turn and a little trailer you want to load up on there, run around town, get some jobs done. Maybe you've got a jet ski trailer and you want to bring that with you for the weekend. This hitch is going to be great for all those things. You can get drawbars and ball mounts here at eTrailer. Now, as always, I recommend you verify in your vehicle's owner's manual and ensure you don't exceed any of its towing capacities. Now I've got some measurements for you to help you when deciding on your accessories. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the edge of our bumper here, we're going to measure right at about 5.5 inches. This is important when determining if your accessories are going to contact the bumper when they're inserted into the receiver, and it'll also tell you if you're able to place it in the upright storage position without contacting the bumper. Additionally, from the ground to the top inside edge of our receiver tube, we measure right at about 14.5 inches. This is important when determining if you need a drop, a rise, or a raised shank on your accessories. Now that we've covered some of the features of this hitch, why don't you follow along with me in the shop? We're going to show you how to get it installed. This is a fairly easy hitch to put on. We will have to drop the exhaust down to do so, but really from there it's pretty straightforward. I would say this is something that you can complete in your driveway in probably about a half an hour to an hour. I would recommend maybe having an extra set of hands there, since we have to fish wire in hardware, and lifting the hitch up by yourself when you have to feed those wires down through it can really be tricky. And then you also have to get that hardware installed all at the same time. So definitely grab a buddy on this one and you should have no problem. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle. We're going to remove the under panel here. This is just a kind of a small one here, this little section. You can see it's held into place by 4 push pins. Some models may have a bolt there in its place. You'd remove that instead, but we have all push pins here. We're going to take our flat bladed screwdriver and put it in the little notch, give it a little bit of a twist there, and the pin will just pull right out. Now that we've got all those removed, if we look right here, you can see that there's like a little tab here that holds it in right there. So we're gonna take our screwdriver, we're gonna press that tab over and then drop it down. We'll do the same thing on this side where the tab is located in the same location, and we'll just set this aside now. After that, we can take our strap now. We're gonna put this into place. We're just gonna hook it on our suspension here. So we'll put one over there. We'll put one on this side. We'll give it a little tug there. That way it'll have a little bit of pressure on our exhaust because we're gonna lower that down next. But we wanna control it when it comes down. We don't wanna just take our hangers loose. And this thing here, you can see it's a pretty big, heavy metal device. So it can be difficult to lower it down by supporting it while you're trying to get the hangers loose. And all this extra weight here could actually damage the exhaust further up. So our strap here is gonna do a lot of the work for us so we can easily get those hangers removed. Let's take a look at these hangers here. We've got one here and one here. You got one on each side of our muffler. So wherever you see the one on the one side, you're gonna have one on the exact same position on the opposite side. There's also some on the other side here towards the front of the vehicle on the other side of our muffler. And there's gonna be one just like that on the other side as well. We'll then remove these hangers by using a little bit of silicone spray. That'll help them slide off of there a little bit easier. And a pry bar. Pry bar here, we should be able to kind of just stick up in here and just pry this right off of here. Got to find that right spot, and there we go. Just give it a good little push, and then it's off of there. So we're just going to repeat that now for the 3 remaining hangers that we've got on here. We'll now lower down the exhaust. We're just going to press in on the release here to kind of slowly drop that down. And that should be enough. We just need enough room to be able to get in there to work. Now we can start to feed our hardware into the frame. To do this, we're going to take the coiled wire that comes in your kit, went ahead and unwrapped that. It's kind of folded up when you get it. We're then going to take it, I like to put a little bit of a bend in it. We're going to put a little tiny bend there at the end, and then we're going to hold it up to about here so we can see this is the hole it's going to come out of. And I'm going to put another bend in it right there. And then we're going to stick it up inside the frame, slide it back. We know this bend here lines it up pretty close to where our hole is. So that helps us kind of know where this is inside the frame. And we can see it's right here. I just got to get it to kind of, there we go, line up with the hole. It's got a lot of this coating on it that kind of catches on it, keeping it from just easily gliding out that hole. We've got our coiled wire poked through now, so we can take the spacer that comes in our kit. We're going to slide the spacer over the coiled wire, and we're just going to push this right up into the frame. We'll then take the carriage bolt, one of the 4 carriage bolts that come in our kit. We're going to thread it onto the coiled wire. And then we'll just push that in the frame, grab the other end of our coiled wire, kind of jiggle it around, and pull it until it drops down through the hole. So that's our regular fish wire technique. We're going to be doing that in the same hole on the opposite side of the frame. Next, we're going to do the reverse fish wire technique, and this is going to be for the rearmost holes on each side of the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and get our other coiled wire here. You can see it's all kind of wrapped up. We're going to get it out of that wrapped up state. Once we've got it unwrapped, we'll take our hardware. We're just going to hold the coiled wire up here like this, slide on our spacer, thread on our bolt. We'll push the bolt up into the frame. Then we'll push our spacer up into the frame. And then we're just going to pull our bolt right back down through. So we'll get that same hardware then prepared over on the other side. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch into position. We're going to take our coiled wires, the ends that are there, and we're going to poke those down through the holes where they line up with the frame. We'll then lift it up over the exhaust into position. Pull your coiled wires down through the holes. And we're going to get one bolt started. We're just going to get this off of here. We're going to take one of the nuts that comes in the kit. and threaded on to the bolt. Once you get one started on each side, the hitch will hold itself up, making it easier to install the rest of your hardware. Now that we've got our hitch in position, we can take our remaining coiled wires off and thread our nuts onto those as well. We can now go back and tighten down our hardware. We're going to use a 19mm socket to do so. We can now go back and torque our hardware to the specifications outlined in our instructions. We can now lift our exhaust back into position. We're just going to be lifting it up and putting our hangers back on. A little bit of silicone spray on those will help them slide on easier. See how they just slide right up on there. And now we can remove our strap. And lastly, you have that panel that we had removed. This panel really just needs to stay off. You can see here where our hitch is. So if we tried to trim the panel around the hitch, we would likely have to cut the panel completely in half. And since the fasteners that hold it in place are only on the very outsides, we can see if we kind of held it up there, roughly how it would go. We would have to cut so much out of it there in order for it to fit that it would likely flop around on this side and on this side because we would have nothing attached here in the middle. So we're just going to put this in the vehicle. It's just not going to get reinstalled. We'll save the fasteners as well in case the hitch ever comes off. So now that we've got all of our hardware tightened and torqued, all of our components reinstalled, we're ready to load up our hitch with our favorite accessories and hit the road. And that completes our look at Curt's 1¼ inch trailer hitch receiver on our 2021 CX-9.